Roll it. Okay, good afternoon. This is Andrew Travel Mall, and I have with me here Mr. Ismail from the Maldives Tourist Promotion Board. And firstly, Ismail, welcome to Singapore and ITV. And I'd like to ask you, what are the three most important things to look for when you're a tourist coming to the Maldives?
Well, the, let's say Maldives is a destination with 1,192 islands.
Right.
We have 94 islands uniquely developed for tourists.
Right.
In Maldives, one island is just one hotel. So we have this concept of giving total privacy to the visiting tourist. You might find islands like so small that only 8 rooms can be built on the island. You
Right.
might find islands as big as 100 rooms on the island. What you are going to look for when you're going to the Maldives is the nice weather, the underwater scenery, and the total relaxing atmosphere, which will give you total privacy.
Right. Okay. I mean, when I went to the Maldives, like I told you earlier, many years ago, I stayed in Kurumba, and the Universal people had 6 resorts, and I went to every one, and one of them had about 6 or 8 chalets at the time. I heard that they've all gone upscale now, and they're going to $600 rooms, $1,000 rooms, or villas or whatever you call them. Is there still room for the mid-market, the people who cannot afford $600 rooms?
Well, Maldives have different range of hotels actually. Because you can say that many of the hotels are leaning towards the upscale, but still in Maldives you can find different range of hotels. Saying that, but still Maldives is a destination worth the money, because anybody who's visiting the Maldives, who had a holiday in the Maldives, will say I had a best experience in the Maldives.
I remember before I went, I did a lot of research and writing, and one of the writers talked about gin clear water, as clear as gin, the drink. Is that still true today?
Of course, for Maldivians and for every Maldivian, keeping our environment clean and protected is one of the main important things. That's why I think you must have heard about the underwater cabinet resolution signed by the cabinet.
Just 2 days ago, right?
Just 3 or 4 days ago, we had the whole cabinet signing a resolution which will be sent to the Copenhagen summit in December, saying that Maldives is very much focused on preserving the environment. We are trying to do anything possible to preserve the environment, because destinations like Maldives are going to be the ones that's going to be affected first, because we are a low-lying country, we are small islands.
Right.
So it is very important for us to preserve our environment. If you go to a Maldivian resort, if you go to any island in the Maldives, you will find that we have the clearest, crystal clear water.
Right.
And the beaches are as clean and silvery as can be.
I understand that on the island, it's a bare island when the developers get it, and then they develop the resort, and they bring everything in. That's what makes the cost of developing the resort quite high. Now, a lot of things go in, things have to come out, right? How do you deal with the refuse? How do you deal with disposal in the Maldives?
When we actually start developing a resort, the government have certain regulations when you actually develop a virgin island to a resort. The first, we look at the vegetation, we look at if there is a breeding ground near the island, because these things have to be considered before we actually say, okay, this island can be developed as a resort. Because, as I said, because we have to look at the environmental aspect of any island, because some of the islands, they have special breeding grounds for some fishes, there'll be a nesting place for some birds. So these are things that we look into. And the government have a regulation, every island that are going to be developed as a resort can only build 20% of the island. So even if the developers want to cut a single tree, special permissions have to be taken from the government, because the government will not allow them to cut a tree unless let's say unless it cannot be avoided. As I said, 20% of the island can only be developed. And I think it's very important for me to say that all the resort owners and all the operators, all the players in the tourism industry plays a big part in preserving the environment.
Right.
They play a huge part in trying to protect the environment, because the first thing that they do when a group of tourists arrive to the resort is brief them on how important tourism, how important environment is to us.
Right.
They will tell you the do's and don'ts. That is, you cannot take corals from the reef. You have to respect it. So these are important things, and as I said, the whole tourism industry plays a huge part in preserving the environment.
I remember I went fishing, and the owners of the resort was very kind. They gave me a boat, just me, going out fishing, and the boat never threw anchor. It was heaved to in the middle of the sea, floating with the engine on. And this is the first time I've been fishing where the boat never anchors. You know, they went heave to against the current in some way with the engine on. That was a wonderful experience for me. I want to ask you a little bit more about tourism development. Okay, nature, beautiful clear water, diving, just relaxing on the beach. Are there plans to build a golf course?
Well, at the moment we do have one resort with a mini golf course. But then again, there has been discussion in the tourism industry to build golf courses, a resort with a golf course as
Really?
well. Yeah, but it is taking some time to actually for the industry to realize this and bring these concepts into let's say realization.
Really?
There are so many ideas and concepts by the tourism industry and by the government combined in order to actually diversify our product.
Right.
If you look at the Maldivian product now, you might not find so many that we do not actually offer, let's say, what the other countries offer as cultural products.
Right.
That is something the government is focusing now. They are trying to incorporate the cultural aspect of the country into the tourism product so that the visitors can actually experience the culture of the Maldives as well.
Right. And I'm sure you have a very unique culture,
We
right?
do, but it is just that we do not have a product that we actually offer to the tourists. So the government is focusing on trying to actually come up with a plan and idea how we can actually offer this to the tourists.
I know that your main and old markets used to be Europe, with the Germans, the French coming in, and those were the pioneers into the Maldives, where you didn't even have fresh water for a shower. They had to shower with the salt water, you know. And of course now you've got international tourists from everywhere, and you are in ITB. Is Asian market important to you?
Well, the European market has been the source market for the Maldives for quite some time. It still generates 75% of the tourists to the Maldives.
Right.
But it is very important for us to diversify the
Right.
source market. That's one of the reasons why we are actually venturing into different markets. We are trying to spread across the world.
Right.
Asia is also one of the plan that we have. China is a huge market for us. Korea is a huge market for us, and the Japanese market is a huge market for us. So, having said that, still countries like Singapore, Malaysia, these are also important. Last year we did a roadshow in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand, trying to see if there's potential for the Maldives to be capturing this market.
Who's flying there now? Is it from Singapore alone, or Kuala Lumpur also there's a flight?
We have direct flights from Singapore and Kuala Lumpur as well.
And Bangkok?
Bangkok, we have direct flights
You
as
have
well.
direct
So
flights.
these three markets have direct flights. Hence, we found out that this could be a potential market for the Maldives. Not in comparison to the European market, which is generating 75%.
Right, right. I would imagine that the upper market in especially the what we call yuppie here would enjoy going to the Maldives. I did enjoy going to the Maldives many years ago, and I still would look forward to. Except it's a romantic kind of concept, a romantic kind of resort that you usually build there. So it's more for the couple, maybe for the family. I don't know. Of course, the divers, you know.
No, it's the Maldives might be very much focused on the honeymoon market, but still it's a destination for every person.
Everybody.
We have families visiting the Maldives because the kids love the water. They love the water sports. So it's actually a place where they can enjoy. It's a nature. They can be in the nature and everything. So, plus, we also are a very good diving. Maldives is a very good diving destination.
Sure.
Plus, it is also a good destination for adventures.
Right.
You could take a safari boat and travel from one island to the other, and travel all throughout the Maldives. 2 years back, Maldives opened the whole 19 atolls to be cruised. So
Right.
now anybody can start their cruise from the far south and go up to the far north.
Right. That would take a long time, wouldn't
It
it?
will take a long time, but it's going to be a huge adventure for any
Right.
person.
I want to ask you, which of the Asian markets is number one now?
Well, currently China market is the
Really?
Yep,
Not Japan.
not Japan. Japan
I'm
used to be a
surprised.
huge market, but once China entered Maldives, it has grown phenomenally.
But is it groups, small groups, package groups? What kind of Chinese are you getting?
We are seeing actually change in Chinese tourists. Usually, when we started Chinese tourists, we had groups, huge groups.
Right.
But Maldives is not really a destination for huge groups.
Right.
Therefore, we are actually seeing a change in the tourists that we get from China. We see lots of couples actually.
Right. And what kind of age group are you getting now?
Usually between, let's say, 21 to as between 21 to 60 years of age. That's actually because lots of elderly people, the silver market, they love to come to the Maldives and enjoy a stress-free, just lay on the beach and have a total relaxation.
Personally, I'm new to China, but when I went to Hainan, I discovered that when the Chinese from outside Hainan go to Hainan Island, they are fascinated just by the coconut. And when they bought the plane before all these regulations, they would buy 30 coconuts and bring it back to the mainland. So I can imagine the fascination with Maldives, obviously.
Well, they are very much fascinated with the marine life there. Because they come from such huge big countries. Maldives is a country with even the airport of Maldives is a single small island.
Yes.
So
That's very fun.
these kind of things are actually very interesting to the Chinese tourists.
Okay, so we'll just end here. Have you got any last things you'd like to summarize to tell our viewers about Maldives? Any last words?
What I can say about Maldives is a destination that once you visit, you will come back year after year because it's a place that you will definitely fall in love.
All right, thank you very much, Ismail.
Thank you.
Okay.